My name's Donovan Tilsley. I'm 34. I'm from Vancouver. I'm actually, I guess, a lifelong athlete.
Yeah.
At the start of the climb, it felt rather impossible.
I got you.
It's all about feel, climbing as a blind person. So it's really like a combination of me figuring out what's on the wall, how to get around it, how to get up it.
You got this.
And
Nice.
instruction from below as to how to do these things.
Climbing is one of those things that requires work. It's not a passive, it's a very active sport. My name is Brent Goodman. I'm the Executive Director of Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society. Come climb in Squamish. Just making climbing possible for them is kind of what it's about, right? And really just sharing the magic of climbing.
These are the stories
There is a foundation out there that helps to get back into it.
of organizations making a difference.
What really limits our ability to do something is people's imagination.
And empowering others across Canada.
When I get into that sledge, I'm free, man. I'm playing hockey.
It's a great organization and it's worth supporting.
In our community.
My name's Paulo Guerrero. I've been in a wheelchair for 10 months now and trying to make the most of it. I moved out a few years ago when I was 17, and I was living on myself, working and doing everything. I'm blessed. I live here. I have ramps everywhere. I was an arborist. I was a tree faller. I like the danger. You had to climb these 70-foot trees with like a handsaw. You're swinging around. It feels like you're gonna fall over half the time. I was pretty outgoing, pretty fearless, willing to try anything. I did a lot of biking though, road biking. I really liked racing them, but that's what led to the accident as well. I was on my motorcycle one night and I was riding home and I lost control on like a pothole and my bike went out from underneath me and I rolled off like 70 feet and hit a parked car with my back. It broke my ribs, my neck, my back, my shoulder, and my arm. And then I remember sitting on the road and I was trying to stand up and I was like, shit, I can't feel my legs. And then yeah, once people came, they called the ambulance, paramedics, police, everybody came. It wasn't good, you know, you worry about things like that. Like if I'm in a chair, how am I gonna teach my kid how to walk or ride a bike? When you go from such a life where everything's free and you can do whatever you want to being so constrained, it's kind of sad, it brings you down. I went to rehab for 2 months after that at GF Strong. It was hard because they try and make you do everything yourself. I had to operate, how to go to the bathroom, get up, get changed, just simple like kid tasks. I felt like I was gonna be limited, but I knew after some time I'd be able to get used to it. I left rehab and I went to my sister's house, but it was super hard. It's like a super small apartment, super not wheelchair friendly, so I came to my parents. At the time I didn't really know what I wanted, but I knew I wanted to do something a little bit different than everyone else. So I took my own path and I wanted to do sports, so I found sports. Yeah, that's when I kind of went on Instagram and looked what other people were doing. That's when I met Scott. He does a lot of water skiing and he goes to the gym a lot. He was cliff diving, he was hanging on bridges and stuff. It was super cool. He just showed me that just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you're disabled. You can still go do things. I get on the ground, lie down there, my friend picks up my legs, and we just start walking on my hands, like a wheelbarrow. We're gonna trek the river, we're gonna go down a little bit, climb up a log, go up the bank, and see where we go from there. You can have a cool off-road wheelchair, but it won't be as able as you with your arms and a friend. Because when you look at people in wheelchairs, especially at our age, you're like, ah, oh, they can't do anything, you know, they're not normal people, everything's harder. Which is true, it really is, but you can still go do things. And just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you're disabled. You're just not, like, there's not something wrong with you. You can go out and you can live your best lifestyle. I want to be able to bring things closer for other people in wheelchairs, to have their possibilities be bigger. Because a lot of people haven't done these kinds of things, right? Scott's the only other person I know that does this walking on his handstand. So if I do it here, my goal is to show other people in wheelchairs that you can still go out, have fun. You just need a couple good friends and that's it. I started Instagram because my sister told me to get it started trying to make money. But then at the end, it was really cool to document sort of each step after getting in a wheelchair. And it was really easy to look back at things and see the changes and how I've improved. Super cool being involved with the community and getting a chance to share my story to help other people as well.
Well, I'm feeling great. Gotta go to the gym after this too.
I want to keep training for a while and be able to push myself to do the hikes in North Van and West Van because I don't think nobody else has done them in a wheelchair yet. So I think it'd be cool to set that staple and show you're really attached to what you love and don't let nobody tell you you can't do it.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
At the gym right now, Feral Strength, Chinatown, working out, having a good time. Right now I'm on the racing team and the skiing team, but I'm trying to make the rowing team as well, Vancouver rowing team, because I think that'd be really, really fun. The goal for in a couple of years is to get to a national level so I can start competing for Canada and see where that takes me.
How you doing today, Paolo?
Good, are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to bench with you. I'm Conlon Mansfield, and I run this gym called Feral Strength. I'm here working with my buddy Paolo today. So I'm just gonna take these straps. We're gonna strap you into the bench. It's gonna keep you stable. Oh, you feeling nice and recovered for our session today?
Oh, very.
Awesome. You're good to go. Why don't you hit this for a good set of 5, my man?
Sports is a little bit better because I think it revolves around a community of people that's already in wheelchairs.
Last 2.
So I think that's a huge help.
Press, finish it. Excellent. Well done, sir.
Now I'm feeling the walking on the river.
We'll take care of these for you, bud. You wanna head up?
You gotta get over that big hurdle of like going out and knowing you're gonna meet people's way, and knowing that people are gonna have to do stuff for you.
Good man, yes. Excellent.
And it's a really easy reason to stay inside.
We made you do all that bench, and then you've got a dip to just get back in the chair, man. You're a champion. Awesome, man. Let's roll.
But yeah, I think with hard work, anything is possible, and that's kind of what I'm going for.
So dude, like we were talking about last time, let's do that ladder, the pull-up ladder, where we do first one as many reps as you can do with really good clean form, and I'll just stabilize your feet for you. You ready for this, Colin? All right, let's do it. All right, wrap them up.
It's easy to muscle through things, but once you gotta start messing with technique, everything gets a lot harder. And to get technique down is the hard part of almost every sport.
I got you. Your one arm hanging down. I got you. Should we go do some rows? Awesome, let's do rows. So let's go first set, if you're game, Paolo, let's just rep it out, do max reps, see how many you can get, up to 15, okay?
Well, everyone's tried rock climbing before.
Let's rep.
STI messaged me and they said if I wanted to go to the aviary at UBC to try it.
You got at least 5.
I think turning down an opportunity to do something that you haven't tried before is a mistake.
No, you're done. You tapped out.
And then I went there and it was really fun. Straight to push-ups?
Yeah, man. Do you want to do some push-ups?
Yeah.
And there you go. Whenever you're ready.
I think it's a huge benefit for me showing people what you can do as someone in a wheelchair. I like when I'm dead after a workout. It's a good place to cool down.
My name's Donovan Tilsley. I'm 35 years old from Vancouver, BC. Completely blind since birth, so I've grown up my entire life not seeing. Thankfully, I have wonderful parents who have exposed me to anything and everything that somebody with sight would be able to do. From the age of 6 months, I was in the water, which graduated to swim lessons and then to racing my dad back and forth across the pool. I was always a kid, always a person who liked to be in motion, and I always liked an adrenaline rush. I am in lane 2 at the Arbutus Club, my usual lane where I'd swim 3 to 4 mornings a week. I've been at this club for many, many years. My parents joined in 1990. I've basically had the same lane in this pool for the past almost 20 years. Summer, I'm turning 12, 1996, and I'm off to Kamloops for my first ever provincial championship. At that competition, I met a couple of people who were traveling to Atlanta that summer to compete in the Paralympic Games. It made me wonder at the time, one day I might make it to the Paralympics. This is where my dad came forward, and former swimmer himself told me, I know you want to get to the Paralympics, and I'm willing to help you to get there. And I think we have a good chance at making the Sydney, Australia team. And so I agreed and began a pretty amazing journey. The following June, found out that I had made the team to go to Sydney to represent my country in the Paralympic Games. I had never, ever been more nervous in my life. Before I knew it, I was behind the blocks and bang, the gun goes off and I start swimming. It all came together. I was like in this rhythm, this flow. I get to the end of the pool And the first question I asked the attendant at the side of the pool was, well, what place did I come in? And she says, third. I couldn't believe that this, skinny blind kid from Vancouver had made it to standing on the podium. And this medal just wasn't for me, this was for my country. I had achieved a lot of success. And from there, the success just kept growing with 3 more trips to the Paralympics, 2 silvers and a bronze in Athens, bronze medal in Beijing, multiple gold medals at World Championships along the way. And the other highlight was carrying the flag into the bird's nest in Beijing. I'm a blind swimmer. I'd like to be walking in with my cane, and obviously I'm gonna need the support, but I think it says something to show the cane, and this is how I get around. And that was a pretty big deal for me. And I enjoyed the experience. Dad's key line was always, the joy is in the journey.
Message received from Maybe. How's it going, man? Just wondering if you are planning to come up for Brent's Adaptive Climbing Day this Saturday in Squamish. 7:27 p.m.
Reply.
What do you want to say?
Hey Tony, yes, exclamation mark. Super stoked for climbing on Sunday, exclamation mark. Are you able to pick me up at 7:45, question mark? Looking forward to sharing the ride up with you, exclamation mark.
Your message to Antonio Franco says, hey Tony, yes, I am super stoked for climbing this weekend. Are you able to pick me up Sunday morning at 7:45? Looking forward to sharing the ride up with you. Ready to send it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
My name is Brent Goodman. I'm the Executive Director of Canadian Adaptive Climbing Society. We have 4 participants coming here in Squamish. Yeah, so the difference between indoor climbing and outdoor climbing is that we still have to bring our own ropes, we have to set it up. As opposed to in the climbing gym, you just show up, there's ropes already hanging. Yeah, we're doing the work, so I've got Steven helping me, who's a coworker of mine. We're just setting up basically 3 top ropes, but one of them has the counterweight, which takes away some of the weight. It makes it a little bit easier to get up the climb. Yeah, so there's 2 bolts. Basically, I attach a carabiner to each of them, and then I attach webbing to each of those carabiners, and then I equalize the end with 2. The whole system with climbing is to try to build as much redundancy as we can. Anyway, long story short, the top of the climb is super safe. All we're gonna do is drop it down, and then we'll be ready to climb, actually. And then we're gonna go and meet all of the people that are climbing with us today. I think the formulation of the idea, kind of observation, I just started looking around and seeing that there's basically no adaptive climbing basically in the whole country, nothing in British Columbia. And just being where I am in Squamish, it's such a great place to innovate. And I would expect that there would be a service like that if something happened to me and I get in an accident. I would love to have someone that I could call and say, hey, I want to keep climbing, you know? As soon as you get a really high quality program with really great people that just want to come and enjoy each other's company and support each other, it makes me think about what we're going to do next, how far we're going to push people, how big the adventures should be. But ultimately, it'd be great to have people come in, be a part of our community, but actually don't need us to go rock climbing. That would be fantastic. When we get together like this, it's a good reminder that it's not about me, it's just about creating that space for people. I'm really excited for today. For me, it's not about like crushing the rock necessarily, but just like taking care of each other and making sure everyone's safe. I'm gonna do quick intros.
I'm Donovan. This is, I guess, my first climb of the year, and came to have a good time and get back on the rock.
I'm Tony. I'm a volunteer. I've been working with Brent for 3 years, and every time I come out, I'm surprised to learn something new and hang out with really cool people.
We're just setting up here. Got the harness on, got the shoes on. Tony's just helping me make sure that my helmet fits snugly, and then once we do that, it'll be time to get on the rock.
Cool. Nice.
I'm just at the base of the rock. We're all strapped in.
All right, so hold on. I'm just gonna clip in.
Am I on belay?
You're on belay, dude. You're ready to go.
Climbing.
Climb on. See what you can do. Nice, dude.
For me, climbing is all about feel.
Up. There, you got a good jog. Perfect. Left foot. There you go. Now twist.
Climbing, not having the visual, it's all about my relationship to the rock.
Nice, dude.
How I interact with it with my hands, with my feet.
Nice.
The first time I climbed in cracks, I remember that being a bit of a struggle.
Oh, I got you.
Also, some degree of communication with the guide. So Tony, who will be belaying me today, will likely be giving me instructions.
Get that foot on. Get that foot on. There you go. You got it.
Letting me know if I'm stuck.
Feel it out.
Where to kind of aim for the next handhold or foothold.
So this is gonna be the tough part. This is gonna be a weird spot. You're gonna have to keep tight. There you go, dude. Keep going. That's it. He's crushing it. He's like absolutely crushing this crack. Well, cracks are really hard to climb. It takes quite a lot of forearm strength, and he's using his feet really well. So get your right foot where your right knee is, Donnie. Twist. Yeah. Keep to your right. That's great, dude. Okay, and reach to your right. That's you, dude.
I'm at the top.
That's it. You ready to lower?
Yeah.
All right, lean back. You know what to do. Walk it out.
I believe I can fly. I believe
Every time.
Think about it every night and day.
I believe I can fly. It's his theme song. All right, that's the ground.
Oh boy, I just climbed a pretty difficult crack. Well, A, it's the first time I've climbed in 5 months. And B, that was fairly technical. This rock definitely has several plateaus. And yeah, once I got to the top, it felt really good. It felt like a sense of accomplishment.
Hey, Paolo.
Good to see you, Brent.
Yeah, dude. You're in good hands. Basically, you just have to throw a harness on, and then you can try this corner.
As soon as I pulled up to the rock, I was like, this is gonna be hard. It was humbling because you gotta put everything aside and you realize how big the rock is and how small you really are.
It's deceptively high though, right? Because once you get up there, it gets harder and harder.
We didn't climb up this thing. It's gonna be wild. I just thought it was a cool way to show what you can really do when you're still in a chair. Because it's totally kind of against what you'd think of what you can do. Chainsaw chaps. Go to my waist, around my legs, get it all strapped in. Protects me from the rock.
Shall we get you tied in?
That's it.
All right. I'm Brianna and I'm from Victoria in Australia. Keen to see how things work and meet some cool people. So we're just gonna clip this white rope through the 2 waist loops. And this is gonna help as acting as a counterweight, taking some of his weight off as he climbs and stopping him falling back down after he's pulled up. I'm just gonna check that your knot's done up and then that this carabiner is done up. Cool, so you're all good to climb. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, great, now we're stopped.
So can you reach into the crack further in? So get your hands in the crack and try making a fist.
When we came here, we're like looking for the colored handhold everywhere, but there's none. You have to put your hands in creases. You have to sort of flex a little bit to try and get in the right position. You have to pull your leg up to try and put it on a rock. There's a whole different aspect of things that you have to do that I didn't think about.
Out to the left here. Yeah, awesome.
Something else, man, I'm telling you. It's not even that I don't have legs, I just have dead weight.
Well, I'm just providing a counterweight for Paolo's dead weight that he's pulling himself up on, and that is attached to the rope that comes back down to Paolo.
Oh, Brent, this is a serious upper body workout, let me tell you.
Nice, nice. Nice, dude, nice. You got it now.
We were climbing up the side of the wall and I flipped over and I felt the rope go slack a little bit and I felt like I was falling. Oh, am I dying?
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
It's pretty scary when you don't feel a lot, but you feel something bad.
Now we're just gonna turn you around, so kind of flip yourself around the other way.
Nothing happened. It was just me overthinking it, which happens a lot too. It's so hard. Feels like there's so much friction. It's not easy, and it's actually a lot harder and requires patience and a lot of things that I'm not super strong with. And like, you get frustrated, but you can't do anything about it. I mean, we gotta go higher. Only way to go is up, so we gotta keep going.
I think that the climb that he did was hard for him. He might have come into it thinking that it was going to be easy.
I'm gonna cheat. No, I'm not. No.
I am gonna do my second climb of the day, and I've been told this is supposed to be quite challenging. Climbing.
Yeah.
Anytime you're faced with a new wall or a new challenge, there's something to get used to.
Go to your left and you got a crack.
Yeah.
Step up.
Climbing is kind of like life. You keep going up these walls and you struggle and you struggle, and then you finally get out onto this plateau and you've made it.
Nice, dude. Left foot up higher. Try and get into that crack as much as possible.
And then you've got to, find the next handhold, next foothold, and there's a bit more of a struggle.
Yeah. You okay?
Damn it. Yeah, I'm good.
I don't need to be the best climber ever. I just need to say that I've been able to climb, and I've been able to climb some challenging things.
Nice. Good, Donovan. Up, up, up. Come on. Yeah. Nice, dude. That's it.
When before you know it, you're at the top of the wall, tapping the anchor and saying, okay, lower me down. And that's the sense of accomplishment.
Am I up top?
Yeah, that's it.
Woo!
Nice, man.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Good God, love driving me insane. You broke my will. Oh, what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
That's the ground.
Oh, wow.
Nice,
Woo.
dude. Well done, man.
Thanks. Oh, that was a good challenge. There's something thrilling about passing the plateau.
There's far too many people who are blind or visually impaired who limit themselves. To see somebody who isn't afraid to accomplish new things, it hopefully inspires them to be the best self that they can be.
It's not just about being on the rock, it's about the social aspect and supporting each other as you climb. All right, Paulo!
Come on, Paulo.
Keep it up.
Push it.
Almost at the top. Keep on trucking.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Keep it going.
You're almost there. Yeah, dude. Yeah, come on.
It was really nice having a bunch of people to encourage you to do stuff. Because without encouragement, sometimes it's hard to finish things. It's good hearing you guys all yell. Definitely kind of have to get this done for everybody. It's gonna be hard to get up these hills and these speed bumps that we encounter, but once you do it, it'll be worth it because you can say that you did it. Nothing worth doing is easy, so might as well try and do something big.
All right, man.
Yeah, great.
Wait, we're not done yet. We need one of these.
Crisp high five.
Nice, dude. Well done.
All right. Some shade.
Yeah, and some water.
Oh, you got some of that?
Yeah, you want some water?
Oh, do I ever?
I think it's all about raising awareness, raising an understanding of what can be done, raising the visibility of adaptive climbing as a whole.
The audacious goal would be that climbing becomes a more inclusive, accessible activity as it continues to grow, and really just sharing the magic of climbing.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night and day.
Producer and director Nathan Skillen. Director of photography Jonathan Krauth. Camera operator Kieran Browning. Location audio David Daoud. Editor Tavi Perusel. Sound design and mixing Adam Johnson. Colorist Phoebe Titus. Special thanks Brian Moorhead, District of Squamish, Conlon Mansfield, Feral Strength and Conditioning, and the Arbutus Club. Integrated Described Video Specialist Ron Rickford. Regional Content Specialist Sylvie Faquette. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Cara. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Programming and Production John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2019 Accessible Media Inc.